that you're here. I mean, I follow your content. I'm in your Discord. I'm reading the updates. I'm reading your perspective on markets. So it's a truly a pleasure to have you here on the show with us. But for everyone that doesn't know who you are, just kind of give us a little background on you, maybe how you got into crypto or trading, or what that journey looked like for you.
Yeah. So first of all, I appreciate it. My Discord is free, and there's just no wall or anything. The only reason why it's restricted, and I haven't been giving invites or anything, is just because bots, scammers, phishing links, stuff like that. But yeah, it's totally free. I'll open it up again. So for anyone that's equally, you have to contextualize it. So I'm not going to take, reversal setups in a more bearish environment where we're downtrending on more significant kind of time frames just because that is the context, right? So, and I'm just respecting the trend. That's ultimately what it boils down to. So, a lot of the criticism that I'm getting today is that whilst I've been kind of banging the drum to be conservative and even bearish for the past month and a half, is I was incredibly bullish at the exact Pico top, right? I was banging the drum, have fun staying poor, you name it, right? I was just
Right.
basically haphazardly bull posting because that was the same thing that I was doing for 6 months prior to the Pico top, right? So it's again, it's respecting the trend ultimately, and that's might come off as like arrogance or ego when I'm like banging the drum at, a top, and then I come back and, oh, look at this, I managed to avoid this, blah, blah, blah. But it's actually incredible humility. And the reason why I say that is it's me admitting to the market that I don't know any better than it. It's me saying that I have no clue why this high would be a top when none of the other highs were able to be a top. And all the same signals that I'm getting here today, like people want to argue, oh, there's an RSI bear div. Well, there was also 87 RSI bear divs on the way into the top, though. Oh, funding is incredibly positive, so that's why this is going to be the top. Well, funding is calculated, right? And a lot of the times, people will say, oh, this is extreme funding, but relative to when we were downtrending. So this is not really a great argument because it makes sense that people would want to pay premiums to be long in a bullish environment, right? So it's like you're arguing redundancy, redundancy, redundancy. Here's why this time is going to be different. And I'm on the other side of the coin, just going, I'm just going to keep betting that this time isn't different. And then after 6 months of fruitful uptrend, it's on me to finally adapt when the market shows me something different finally. It's then my job to then go, okay, I am wrong. I wasn't searching for these arguments as to why I would be wrong for 6 months straight because the market just kept going higher. And who am I going to be the person that bites the hand that feeds me, right? I only trade the upside. So if I'm not capitalizing off of incredible rallies in this market, then what the hell am I doing? Why am I even here? So I need to be capitalizing off of that. And the way that I do that is I show humility to the market. I'm just going to respect whatever the trend is doing and assume that trend continuation is more likely than trend reversal. And so when I do finally see those trend reversal signs and I start banging the drum like I have for the past month and a half, hey, probably makes sense to not be, sizing with so much position, size. It probably makes sense to be very picky and choosy and strict about what kind of trades that you're taking. It probably is better to forego these like low time frame signals of strength because they get framed as relief bounces. When I see those indications, right, it's that much easier to want to flip my bias, or it's never actually flip bias, right? That's how people think trading looks like. It's more gradual, right? It's snowball to a bigger snowball to the body of a snowman to a full-fledged snowman. It's always gradual. You always see it coming. So over time, you're gradually, catering your system and your approach to whatever the market environment itself is doing. And so when I'm able to see those signals, those warning signs, and I'm able to give them a more significant degree of merit. We haven't done this in 3 months. We haven't done this in 6 months. We haven't done this in 3 years. And now we have, right? And so that is going to be what enables me to flip bias that much easier because I've refrained from making those arguments for 3 months, for 6 months, for 3 years, right? So it's just all a matter of like fluidity, right? And I always say you're only ever as good as your ability to adapt. So if you can't adapt, then you're essentially just gonna, experience a 3-year bull market and have nothing to show for it anyways. And I've been there before.
Nice. I mean, awesome, awesome take. I wanna kind of, I definitely want to go into some setups here, just so we can kind of like practically take a look at how you move through markets. But before we do that, I wanted to first just, you mentioned you started in 2017, you ran it up, right? You lost it all in March 2020. That's where you got humble. You got humbled by the market, and now you're looking. And from that point, you kind of use this more refined approach in order to take advantage of the rest of the market, the rest of what the market had to offer. So if someone was in a similar shoes, right? Let's say, for example, someone was here last cycle. They made a ton. They came back, but this cycle has been wildly different than previous bull markets. And maybe they got caught offside in Q1 with the tariff downtrend, or maybe they're getting caught off guard right now with the current price action of Bitcoin. What helped you to kind of grind again to get back to where you were in 2017 from a portfolio standpoint? You mentioned humility, but what other like refinements did you make in order to help you to essentially run it back up again?
And what did you trade as well?
What did I trade? Oh man, in 2019, I was primarily just trading Bitcoin inverse perps. So I just denominated in Bitcoin, and I was just exclusively a Bitcoin trader. And I probably in like those early days would even classify myself as a Bitcoin maximalist. So it's very ironic. Pierre is someone who trades a similar system to me. And when I was, coming up in the space and starting to get my feet wet, Pierre was primarily trading altcoins. He was for like hopping on Huobi and like catching the Huobi scam pumps and all this stuff. And I was primarily just a Bitcoin trader. And I just did a podcast or something along those lines with Pierre a couple months ago. And it's actually the opposite now. I've made a lot of my money throughout this bull market cycle by trading altcoins and just kind of focusing on relatively strong outperformers. And Pierre has actually told me that he's found it much easier to just focus primarily on Bitcoin. So it's just a matter of like, whatever you feel most comfortable with. I think that a lot of the reason as to why I was trading Bitcoin was because I wasn't so familiar with altcoins, and that territory kind of felt very uncomfortable to me. But essentially, if you wanted to do incredibly well in 2021, you had to force yourself to trade altcoins. So I started to get, more familiarized with that environment and, apply some winning philosophy there. And the winning philosophy was just very simple. If a coin's showing strength, then it's probably going to continue to show strength, right? Green candles attract more green candles. Strength attracts strength. People are talking about Michael Saylor because he's an absolute lunatic, constantly dollar cost averaging every single month into an the past 3 years. Nobody's talking about all the other 9 million people that are doing the exact same thing on something that's trending towards zero, right? And there's a reason for that. So it's that philosophy, right? And that's really what has kind of helped me. But I've rambled so much already. I don't even remember what the question was. What is my advice for? Your boy loves to rant, man. I'm sorry.
No,
What
you're
is my
good. You're
advice
good.
for people that are essentially round tripping their portfolios?
Yeah,
What
let's
I
say
do?
you're getting dusted today. Kind of where do you think people should start to work back?
I will give you in this one statement. I will give you a couple things. I will give you the greatest piece of advice. I will give you the most cliche advice, and I will give you the advice that most people never listen to, and that is take a break. Unfortunately, people only take a break, and when I say people, I mean me. Pe- People only take a break after they've already hit rock bottom because there's nothing left to do, right? You don't have any more money to continue with your bad habits. You don't have any urge or passion to want to keep fighting. So you force yourself to take a break, right? And the March 2020 story goes like this. I got absolutely obliterated. I spent the past 2 years grinding my ass off 12, 16 hours a day, totally polar opposite kind of like style of trading to what it is today. It's much more patient, it's much more disciplined. I think in the past month and a half, I've maybe taken 5 trades and that's it. Whereas in prior to March 2020, man, there were times where I would take 100 trades a day, just 12, 16 hours, a day, staring at the screen and charting, trading, reading books about trading. whatever, right? Doing everything that I possibly could. But it wasn't an obsession, it was addiction. And so the only way that I could ever stop those bad habits was when there was nothing left for me to do, because there was nothing for me to do, like actually. Like I physically could not do anything. The only thing that I had was whatever was remaining of my Bitcoin positions, because again, I denominated everything in Bitcoin. So whatever managed to not get liquidated or, whatever, and Bitcoin is, at the time trading negative 70, negative 80% lower than where it just was just a few weeks ago. So I just had that left and that was it. And there was no, money in my bank account. There was no safety net. There was no, dust in a wallet. There was none of that. So uh, the greatest irony and the thing that really humbles you is when your uncle, who for years straight, I go out to lunch with this man like every month, right? We have a great relationship, and he always asks me about crypto. But he's like 70, so he's like a boomer, and he's like, I don't get this crypto stuff, this Bitcoin, right? So he's always told me like, I don't even like Bitcoin. I think it's a scam, and I'm like, no, dude, you got to buy some Bitcoin. My uncle bought $4,000 Bitcoin just because. He's like, you know what? I like my nephew. I think he's onto something. This thing just sold off negative 70% lower. Do I think it'll go higher? Yeah, it's sure. I still think it's a scam. He bought 4,000 and ironically he sold 9,000. But then he donated the profits to charity. He's an absolute Chad, right? I didn't even have the luxury of buying that dip. He bought my capitulation, so it gets restructured, man. It really fucking humbles you. Sorry if I'm not allowed to cuss.
This isn't CNBC. You're good.
Okay, cool.
You're good. You're good.
I don't want you guys to like get in trouble with sponsors or anything like that.
No.
But yeah, man, it really humbles you. It's like my uncle bought my capitulation. He doesn't even like crypto. He thinks this thing's a scam. So that's really what restructures the mindset, right? It's like, oh man, I need to figure this out. This is a fundamental flaw. This isn't a fluke. This isn't a one-off. This isn't woe is me. The universe is out to get me. It dislikes me more than my uncle, right? It's not that. It's flaw. It's skill issue. It's my inability, right? It's lack of ability. So I need to figure that out. And when you're, you know, I just bought a house this year, and the first thing that every real estate agent told me is that if there's ever an issue with the foundation, stay away from the house. Don't even bother, right? It's not even worth fixing. You can't renovate it and fix it up for a profit. Just don't even bother. If the foundation is even cracked or messed up to the slightest degree, you just throw it in the garbage bin. And so to fix core issues, to attack, to try to cure causes and not focus so much about remedying symptoms, it takes a lot more mental, like cognizant effort to actually go and do that. And so that's what ended up happening after March 2020 is like I'm finally forced to not be locked in, right? I can't. I don't have the passion. I don't even have the capital. I have nothing to even want to keep going with my addiction, where I'm staring at charts 12 to 16 hours a day. All that motivation, all my money, all the passion, it's all gone, right? So being forced to just kind of chill out for a month, month and a half, 2 months, whatever, not really do too much, was a blessing. Ironically, when I came back to the market, I started revenge shorting, right? Because I was still traumatized. And at this point, I still was fundamentally flawed in my mindset. I didn't know that. I thought that I was cute and managed to get away from the market. And all of a sudden, I'm a Chad and I'm a legend because I managed to not lose money throughout the next month of chop because I did nothing at all. Right. And then I come back and I immediately start revenge shorting a market that is already generationally bottomed and is now continuously grinding higher. And thankfully, I had some good friends around me at the time that kind of told me exactly what I was doing. And I was able to do some inner reflection thanks to them. But man, and that's really where the journey started is after the revenge shorting. Then okay, wait a minute, hold on. I need to figure this out. This, fundamental flaws. I'm doing things wrong. I got to remind myself why I'm here. I have to not be caught off guard by markets. I never want to be liquidated ever again. It's not cool. It's not fun. Crypto Twitter, unfortunately, likes to glorify that shit, man. Oh, you're not a trader until you get liquidated. No, you shouldn't be glorifying getting liquidated. It's not cool. you're losing all your money. It's not fun, stop remedying symptoms and you've managed to keep even 40% of whatever your all-time high net worth is, dude, you have a blessings, luxuries, all that experience is invaluable experience, right? When we're up in the clouds, man, the consensus is, will there ever be a bear market again? Do 4-year cycles still exist, right? At the lows of a bear market, people are asking me, Mercury, do you think that altcoins will ever rally again? And the simple answer is, does human greed still exist? Right? So it's like, what has been will be again, man. And you have the invaluable experience of knowing what that's like to run things up, to lose money, to click buttons, to see rotations, to see things defy gravity, to see flukes, to see fake outs, to see deviations, right? To be wrong. If you know what that's like, you have an invaluable edge over every other participant, in the future. So just hold on to that and take a fucking break, man. And nobody listens to that advice, but everyone that does always comes back to me and says, you know what? That was really amazing because I managed to clear up my mind. I feel recouped. I feel fresh. I feel ready to go. I'm detached from my trauma. I've been able to cope with it. I gave myself time to grieve my losses, right? It's incredible advice. Unfortunately, it's incredibly cliche and tends to get overlooked.
So, I mean, that was awesome. I mean, I don't know if you saw the comments, but
We
a
needed
lot
that.
of yeah, we needed that. A lot of people listening to the stream need that. A lot of people trading right now need that. I mean, you mentioned that you use the skills that you've kind of refined to now just kind of be a trend trader. So you're more focused on identifying trends, respecting the trend. So let's kind of walk through that line of thinking. I mean, we see the Bitcoin chart now, and of course, if you want to show charts, definitely feel free. We can share your screen whenever you're ready.
Sure.
But yeah, walk us through kind of your view on the market now. We see it trending down. What are your thoughts? Where are we headed? And how should we think about the market?
Okay, let me get this set up really quick.
Yeah, sure, sure. And once you're ready, just let us know. We don't want to share anything that you
Zappy, you like the notes. I'm actually super happy that you like the notes. You collect it and give it to your big brother. I love it. You know, if your big brother is older and working and you're younger and on here on stream getting notes and giving it to him, like that's awesome.
Chad.
Chad.
Chadette.
Shout out Dom in chat. Good to see you.
Seems like most people need, he said, seems like most
Kurt,
people only start reflecting after they reach rock. I wish it could happen sooner for many. Yeah, definitely, bro.
Crypto Cuba said, Mercury, give invite to Discord, please. So maybe we'll figure out a way. Can I put it in the tweet to MCG or maybe only MCG Telegram? You let us know, Mercury.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely do that for you guys. Not an issue at all. Yeah, so I am sharing my screen. I don't know if you guys can see this.
Yeah, you're good.
Let's see. Yep, we can see it now.
You're not gonna like this.
No,
Nobody's gonna
I
like
already
this.
saw your tweet. I already saw your recent tweet on Are You Bullish?
Oh man, nobody's gonna like this, but I actually made my name for myself. Somewhere around here, I had like 1,000 followers, and then somewhere around here, I managed to get a shout out from High Stakes Capital. He was just kind of saying like, "This is the most underrated trader." He, gives like level-headed, advice, views on the market, et cetera, et cetera. So I made my name for myself in a bear market by being a bear in a bear market. And ironically, if you followed me, you know me to be the dumbest, loudest bull throughout the bull market. And unfortunately, this is changing unlike anything we have seen in the past 3 years. And that's the best way that you can put it. So we are doing something different that we have not been able to do in 2 years minimum. What is it actually? Right. So almost 3 years. So you can debate me. You can argue, hey, this is going to lead to only a fluke. This is the extent of the drawdown, you blah, 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 blah. But you know what you can't debate? We are doing something that we have not been able to do for the first time in 3 years. You can't debate that. That's called objectivity. And it doesn't start here, right? It's not like Mercury wakes up one day screaming at $125,000 Bitcoin that we're going to go to 1 million. And then the next day, all of a sudden, I'm calling for zero. That's never going to be how that works, right? There's no such thing as flipping bullish or flipping bearish. That's how people talk about trading. It's not how you actually go to trade. So it starts somewhere, right? And it starts with a breakdown below a 3-month range, right? And also losing these 12-hour 200 moving averages. The reason why these 12-hour 200 moving averages are so important is because on a more actionable scale, so not just zoomed out to a cycle kind of like perspective, on a more actionable scale, the few and far between rallies that we have actually been able to see in this market have been nicely portrayed by these 12-hour 200 moving averages. If you count out all these rallies, there's really not many of them. There's like maybe 6 or 7 rallies that actually matter in the past 3.5 years. The 12-hour 200s have really only ever given one fluke, one fake out, one deviation, one bull trap, one market manipulation, whatever you want to call it, right? Where they said, hey, this might be rally number blah, 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 that actually matters in the past 2 years. And then it didn't actually work out that way. So
Can I ask a question on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
The 12-hour so the 12-hour moving average, number one, is that like a an indicator that's like widely available? The one that you're showing here, is that one that's widely available on TradingView?
Yeah, it is. This is just called EMA/MA, and I believe the person that made it is called Vaporista. But like, there's every moving average calculation should be the same. So you can go use Crown's moving averages. Typically, any generic like indicator on TradingView should be the exact same moving average calculation as mine, because it's a moving average. So the difference
Got it.
is it an SMA or an EMA? In which case they do calculate differently because the weight distribution based off of the previous 200 gets weighted differently. So whatever, right? But this is the blue line is EMA 200 EMA, and the green line is 200 MA. And again, this is just simply because like I have a question for you, Chill. Which way is this market headed?
Well, according to the trend down, if we're looking at like high time frame, I mean,
No, this circle right here. Which way is it
oh,
headed?
up for sure. GICM, GMCG. What's up, homies? Wow. What a pre-show here by Trader Mercury. Awesome trader, fantastic trader, genuine guy, genuine chat in the space. You should give him a follow at Trader Mercury. But look, guys, it's going to be a pretty interesting week here for MCG, pretty interesting week for markets overall. So let's kind of go through some things with you guys. But first off, hope you guys are doing well. Um, and perfect. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Monday, we're back. We're ready to dominate markets once again. Question remains though, is the market about to pop? This week, we talked about this over the course of last week, and I believe Josh put out a post on MCG over the weekend as well. This week is going to be just kind of crazy with the schedule, crazy with when streams will go live. As you all know, Met Dhabi is coming up here, and so we have the team basically going to Dubai. So we got Josh and Dom. They're traveling to Dubai. They are. Let's see. Bam. Here's the tweet right here. So they're going to Met Dhabi, and there's going to be a ton of stuff that they'll cover. They'll be covering projects from SOAR, MetaDAO, Street, Start Out Fund. They'll be interviewing a few key figures. They'll be participating in some private events that we've invited you guys to over the last few streams. So you guys definitely want to keep up with the MCG account. Follow us at MCG Live. Welcome to all of our guests as well on the Asset Dash side. But very interesting week here. I'll be hosting the show, holding us down running Trader Radio this week. Today is going to be a relatively short stream. Um, Throughout the rest of the week, I'll basically have a few traders kind of come on. We'll talk about their thoughts on markets. We might even bring on some old friends as well. But we'll have some of the homies pull through. We'll chop it up. We'll talk markets. But not many like project interviews or anything like that this week. We're mainly just going to be um, holding it down, vibing with the market, just kind of seeing what the market has for us. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed the pre-show. GM to all you guys. Coletown, GM, need that MCG TG invite. Huh. I wonder if it's still live, huh? I wonder if it's still live. Let's see. I'm gonna go to the MCG account. I'm gonna search TG. It's actually still live. I think he forgot to delete the tweet. The MCG Alpha TG is still live. So just go to that post. Go to that post on the MCG main account, and you guys will be able to get access to the TG. We actually just dropped one of our first posts in Telegram the other day. And basically there was a private call that the Impulsor team had with their community. And essentially what happened is they shared a ton of alpha. And there was notes taken based on that call, and we basically shared those notes with the MCG Telegram. But this call maybe had 5 or 10 people on it at most. But even though it was open to the community, but had about 5 or 10 folks in there, and there's just a ton of alpha that they dropped on Impulsor, on CPT, on what they're looking for. So definitely want to again, go follow that or go to that post, hit the link, get in our TG, and we'll be dropping more stuff, man. We'll be dropping just some trade ideas, alpha. We'll be maybe even transitioning to doing like calls in there as well. But again, we want to make it more, just signal over noise, right? When we don't want to just like drown out everything, but we still want to provide value and alpha in the Telegram. So a ton to look forward to there. There might even be some like stream. There might even be some stream review, stream summaries type things and stuff as well in the TG. So yeah, ton to look forward to there. Coletown. Hope you get in, sir. But either way, if you're not in now, there will be tons of opportunity to get in the future. So no worries, we got your back. We'll be able to get you guys in there. All right. Next, let's look at Bitcoin. I guess before we like really dive into charts, let me just make sure of a few things. Do some housekeeping here. So just as a preface to this entire week, when I stream, I'm going to be doing this by myself. So usually Josh is the one that's kind of in the background, engineering, doing stream notes. And you know what? I'm actually going to show the comments on the screen as well, because that way it can just kind of be, there we go. All right, I'll show the chat on stream, so I can actually see you guys when you comment. But yeah, so Josh is not with us again. Him and Dom will be in Dubai at Met-Dhabi. They'll also be at Solana Breakpoint. And so, definitely it's just going to be me here holding down the fort. And it's a lot of new things here in the background on the engineering side. So if it's a little rough, bear with me here. Everything won't be perfect, but I'll do my absolute best. All right. So with that said, let's go into some setups here. I think we pretty much have everything that we need. I'm just double checking. Josh and Dom getting fed grapes in Dubai. For sure. All right, cool. So let's take a look. And by the way, my I got new setup, new audio setup coming. So over this week you should hear the audio quality kind of take a bump up. But let's dive into Bitcoin. Let's dive into markets. Um, Again, not a long show today, just a little something to get us caught up on everything or anything that we potentially might have missed. All right. So Bitcoin still haven't broken out of this overall downtrend, right? We've been tracking this downtrend for quite a long time. We've been downtrending for well well over 2 months now, and we haven't been able to break above this downtrend. So the question is this where we do it? Before we didn't really see a bottom form here at all. We attempted to form a bottom. We attempted to form a bottom here, right? We try to break out of the downtrend, didn't work, didn't develop a bottom here, but now we're kind of doing the same thing. Now we're also starting to develop some sort of like bottom action on this time frame here. So we're starting to develop some sort of bottom. So the question is this the time where we actually reverse? Is this the time where we actually, go for a breakout of some sort? So I guess let's just go through a few possibilities, things that I'm thinking about on Bitcoin. So number one, let's go to the daily time, or let's go to the 12-hour. Looking at zooming in here, I've been covering this bearish order block that we haven't really gotten above. Last week we also talked about this as well, this down channel that is developing here. So we're at a crossroads. We are. Let me do this so you guys can view this a little bit better. Hopefully that looks a little better for you guys. And let me know in the chat, man. Let me know in the chat if anything, if you guys can't hear me or if you can't see something, just let me know. But yeah, so we have this 12-hour bearish order block. It's been acting as resistance for quite some time. It's acted as resistance here. It's acted as resistance here, and it's currently acting as resistance here as we converge with this bearish order block and the downtrend that we've been respecting for months, right? And so there is this, sort of headwind that we have in this order block and this downtrend that we've been experiencing for a few months. So the question is, are we about to pop? When I look at Bitcoin, I'm not sure. I don't think this is the time to pop, because look at this real quick. Look at this. If I'm going to draw this here, and let's just I'm going to draw this here, and I'm going to draw this here. What does that look like to you guys? Doesn't that look a little bit like a Head and Shoulders? You know what I mean? So it's a cause for concern. Not saying this is the end or anything like that, but on a higher time frame, I basically told you guys that we've been covering this on the show quite a bit. We're not just going to V-reverse out of this. We have to consolidate, in my opinion. So if we are going to consolidate, it will be in this green area, but we just have to see how price action develops. And my philosophy around trading, especially now, more recently, is not predicting price moves, but just, looking at possibilities and being able to identify high probability setups, being prepared for those, but also being prepared for downside just in case. So again, been respecting this downtrend for quite some time. It looks like, even if we were to draw it like this, technically we're still respecting it, right? But either way, we've been respecting this downtrend for quite a while. When you look at the lower time frame, we have a Head and Shoulders. We're running into resistance, and we have a potential bear flag setup. So is that what's about to play out right now? Is that what's about to play out right now on the chart? is this bear flag, this head and shoulders, this run up into resistance and failure to break out, is that really going to play out, or is the market about to pop? I have two opinions on this. First, um, let me know your opinion. Let me know, are you bullish? Are you bearish right now? Thumbs up if you're bullish, thumbs down if you're bearish, or let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat what you're thinking. Markets are definitely tricky right now, so would be a nice sentiment check here. But yeah, let me know if you're bullish or bearish here. But we have a potential sort of bear flag type thing forming. We have a head and shoulders type thing forming here. So here is, let me delete all of that. So that's the context of the market running into resistance, have several kind of trends playing out on Bitcoin. And if we were to puke down, I would say we would puke down right back to this point here at 80K. We could potentially, like, the door is still open to retest those levels all the way down there at 80K. So this could be a potential. This could be a potential target to hit, in my opinion. I know it's not the up only. We're bulls. Things are about to explode. That type of sentiment that maybe we want to hear, but I wouldn't be surprised if, again, just with the context, respecting the downtrend, number one, head and shoulders, number two, bearish, bear flag, number three. I wouldn't be surprised to see us puke that down all the way to, potentially 80K. Because again, we're not going to V-shape reverse. If we are, we need it to be explosive. Let me show you guys an example of this. So if we're in this sort of sub 90K range, the last time we were in this range was over here, sub 90K. You see how this price action played out here? Like fat buy candle, consolidate, fat buy candle, consolidate, fat buy candle, consolidate. You see how that's playing out there? This is a powerful move. This is an aggressive move. But so far, what we're seeing now is we're seeing this sort of like choppy. It doesn't look strong. It doesn't look like there's any meaningful strength behind this move. So in my opinion, with the context, we have to have the door open to the possibility of us revisiting, either whether we want to call it here, right? 87K here at 84K, let's call it, and then here at 80K. So those would be kind of like downside targets. We have to be open to that possibility. Again, not saying it will happen. I'm not in the position to, and I'm not going to be the one to try to predict price action. I'm just kind of laying out the context, and now the probability to me is, perhaps we puke here a little bit. So that's the context. That's the context that we have so far. A potential revisit to some lower levels. Who knows? Maybe this SFP level here at 85K, maybe that holds, and maybe this is the region we consolidate in between. Would be 85K and 90K, right? Maybe like we just kind of we've already been right kind of in between this level. So maybe we go like this and then break the downtrend, right? So who knows exactly how this will play out, but we have been consolidating in these areas between 85K and let's call it 92K, or what's this, maybe 93.3. So 85K, let's call it 93K, just, or 94K, just for just to keep it simple. And this is the first time, I would say, if this consolidation does kind of take shape, this would be the first time we've consolidated, sideways since, I mean, look at this. Right now, let me just I'm actually curious about this. Since our bottom, we've been going sideways for about 17 days, right? So how much time after this bottom did we go sideways before we rejected? 16 days. Oh, that's almost 17 before we ran into the trend line and bang and puked. So interesting. I guess and after this recent low as well, let's see how long this consolidated. After this, it consolidated for about 6 days. Okay, so I guess this week is a very pivotal week. We have some macro stuff going on, but that's my breakdown here on Bitcoin. Ultimately, that's the context. Leaning bearish, have to be open to that possibility with everything that's playing out right now. Now, why am I saying that? Why am I not just fully a bear here? Why am I still bullish? Because honestly, I'm still leaning to a breakout, because when you look at some other assets, you see something a little bit different. Let me see here. We talked about this last week, how ETH kind of formed this bottom here a bit. And to be honest, though, it's still sort of in the same position as something like Bitcoin. Why do I say that? Bitcoin is also bouncing off of a key area. Let me delete these so you guys can actually see it a little better. There we go. Awesome. So, like, as you can see, kind of bouncing off a key area, but still hasn't broken out of the downtrend like we talked about. Even here, same thing. You can look at the downtrend that was formed here, and we're pushing up pretty much right against it, pushing up right against this downtrend. Honestly, ETH does look let me go to the lower time frame here real quick, and let me just see something. Let's make this a little bit more clear to see. Yeah, so I guess ETH is in the same position. But when I look at altcoins, the story gets a little bit different, right? So I'm looking at Solana. Solana has, despite the price action, has held this monthly support here. As you can see, we've been in a downtrend for quite some time, but we've been holding this support on pretty much these high times. So this is actually consolidating quite a bit. This chart here on Solana is consolidating quite a bit. Let me just make sure you guys can see that clearly. Been in this down channel. What I'd like to do is, now that we've formed the bottom, I would love for Solana to break out. Right now, what could lead to Solana breaking out? Let's look at Solana Bitcoin. Is this? Oh wow! So this is actually pretty. Pretty key development here happening with Solana. Solana is now bouncing off of a key trend line here that has been in place for several years, since 2023. So it looks, what this tells me is Solana is about to outperform Bitcoin. That's what this is telling me. And as you can see, it's already been doing so, because while Bitcoin, let's look at Bitcoin real quick. While Bitcoin has been, basically going down for, let me see how long has Solana been consolidating sideways here. Let's see, how long has it been consolidating sideways? For about 21 days, we've been consolidating sideways. And if we were to look 21 days, I wonder what this would look like on a Bitcoin chart. Let's see, 20, this 33. Oh, wow. Okay, let's see, 21 days. So in the last 21 days, Bitcoin was actually still going down, while Solana has basically been consolidating, above, let's call it above 121 and below 144. So Solana has been showing a lot of strength here lately. It's bouncing off of a Solana BTC is bouncing off a multi-year trend line. So what does that tell me? Again, while Bitcoin might look slightly bearish in terms of, again, all the context that we discovered, I'm seeing that on chain, there's a lot of great setups. And also on some of these majors, there's a lot of great setups here as well. So Solana is one of them, right? Downtrend, but consolidating before Bitcoin. And maybe it could break out before Bitcoin as well. So showing some strength there. And then all of the Solana native tokens, we take MET, for example. This chart looks absolutely amazing. Consolidating here between 28 and 36 cents. I told you guys already, and I think I even referenced this post. Yeah, I think MET here below 30 cents is a steal. I said that back here, and I'm actually probably going to do a post on that today. But you know, we're looking at MET also, again, finding a bottom. And let's see how long we've been finding this bottom here. For about 15 days almost. Well, let's call it 17 days. Okay, so again, MET finding a bottom, Solana finding its bottom. Let's look at Fartcoin. Fartcoin looks so interesting right now because unlike ETH, unlike Solana, unlike Bitcoin, Fartcoin has actually broken out of the higher time frame downtrend. Pepe, what's going on? LFG, bro. What's happening? GM, good to see you. So, yeah, I mean, look, Bitcoin still respecting the downtrend. ETH still respecting the downtrend. Solana still in a downtrend, technically. But you look at Fartcoin, and it's the only one that's broken out of the downtrend. Favorite part of the day, MCG show? Holy, high praise. I appreciate you, bro. That means a lot. That means a lot to us, man. And I actually got something to say on that as well, Pepe. Like, let me wrap this up, and I'm actually gonna share some quick news with you guys. But yeah, Fartcoin actually breaking out of the downtrend. And what this tells me is while the market is looking to find its bottom, like BTC, ETH, Solana, while the overall market is still searching for its ultimate bottom and looking to break out of those downtrends, we see Fartcoin already has, which I look at Fartcoin as a risk barometer, right? It helps me to measure the appetite for risk that the market has. And right now, this is signaling that perhaps on chain has already bottomed and is looking like this chart. Perhaps on chain has already put in its bottom, and maybe we're about to see some on chain setups actually go crazy. And so that's why the title of the video today is the market about to pop? Because Bitcoin looks iffy. ETH coming up against the downtrend looks iffy, right? Coming up against the downtrend looks iffy. Solana still respecting a floor, but technically still in a downtrend. But you look at things like Fartcoin, they're breaking out. We look at things like Pump Fund, that's also breaking out. And Fartcoin, I mean, Pump is a little interesting, a little bit of a niche case here. But when you look at it, again, this downtrend that we've respected for quite some time, it's broken out of it. It's now retested here. And just so you guys can see it, it broke out here, retested here, and now it looks like it's ready to go higher. Huck, Fartcoin is a bottom indicator. Wintermute just sold their supply and it pumps. Dude, I saw that. I think I covered that in a tweet as well. But I was looking at Wintermute, whales, Wintermute selling, whales accumulating. And then I saw also there was a clip about a streamer, a girl who basically like put, it was like a clip of like some streamer who basically said, "Hey, like I just bought like $25,000 in Fartcoin," and the person that was interviewing them was like, "Why? Like, what does it do?" And she said, "I don't know. All I know is hot air rises," and starts laughing. Right. So again, Fartcoin always has shown that if we're looking at Fartcoin, it's always shown that it has the ability to go outside of our little echo bubble here in crypto. It's able to escape CT and actually go into the real world. We see it on, you know, uh, um, what was it, SNL? We saw it on, in various news outlets, various financial news outlets. Saw it on, we even saw it on, other places as well. So, and we see a lot of like financial analysts use that as an indicator themselves. So yeah. So look, Fartcoin, very interesting. Pump Fund as well, very interesting with the breakout. Oops, I keep doing that. Let me go this. There we go. Uh, so Fartcoin looks interesting. Pump looks interesting with the breakout there and the retest there. And those are the only two charts that I would say like that I'm really, really paying attention to on a high time frame. Um, or the three, I should say. The three would be Met, Fartcoin, and Pump Fund. Those are the three that I would say are the most interesting of all the majors right now. And again, they're looking Fartcoin and Pump Fund specifically looking really, really solid as they again breaking out of the downtrend there, and then also breaking out of the downtrend here as well. Real quick, last thing I'm going to look at on majors. Let me just try to map out. I wanted to see if there was I guess I wanted to see if Met was doing something similar, just in terms of breaking out of the downtrend, but it's not enough chart history to really, it's not really much to chart on this one. But again, looks like it's also found its bottom here. You can even like take this as a bit of a double bottom, but I know that Met Dobby, they said, hold on to your horses. We might have a lot of updates for you. I want to say Soju was the one who said that. Let's see. Real quick, real quick. I think Soju, yes. Here's the tweet. Look at Soju, man. He called it out. This Met Dobby, everything changes. We accelerate Meteora and lay out clear plans for the future. WAGMI. So again, look, the only three majors that I'm looking at, and again, not really much to chart on this as far as seeing where like a breakout of a potential downtrend, but what we do know is bang, there is a bottom being formed, and there's catalysts to send this higher at Met Dobby. So not fading the Met setup going into Met Dobby. All right, so those are my high time frame views here so far. Those are time frame views. Let me just make sure of one thing. Awesome. A few things. I don't know. Did you guys see the SOAR updates as well? Let's see. Nice little dip on CPT added to my bag at 16 mil. Yeah, I guess we got to talk about CTP as well, CPT as well, because again, we covered some pretty great stuff in the MCG Telegram, that just some alpha that they leaked. But Pepe, yeah, we definitely have to check out the CPT chart. Real quick, before we do, I wanted to address this comment that you made, Pepe. Favorite part of the show is MCG. Look, really appreciate you, and I just wanted to say that we're going into the end of the year. It's been one heck of a year, and I want to share this with you guys as we're touching on this point. This is actually a post that I was writing up prior to the show I didn't get a chance to finish it, but you guys get a chance to see it before it actually goes out. Basically, MCG put out this tweet that says, from 0 to 5 million impressions. This was just about an hour ago. Thank you guys so much for being with us from the team at MCG. We appreciate you all. 2026 is the year of ICM. Indeed, 2026 is going to be a fantastic year. I am bullish on 2026. I believe overall that we'll experience some consolidation here over the next, over December and January. And maybe even we make like, a higher high, let's say it to like 100K or something like that. But I think overall we'll go through this bottoming process for, a month or two on Bitcoin. And I think overall in 2026, things are about to get absolutely crazy. And not just for markets, not just for our portfolios, but also for MCG. Look, 5 million impressions. That's not something to scoff at. And that's kind of what I talked about in this tweet here. I just kind of looked at the journey for MCG. It says MCG is on fire, 0 to 6,000 followers, 0 to 5 million impressions, 0 to thousands of daily viewers, interviewed every relevant ICM team and startup. We've been streaming since April, went all in August and started our X account. Now we are the go-to place to get caught up on all things ICM and ownership tokens. We are the highest alpha per minute ICM show in crypto. It's only been 4 months. 2026 is about to be a movie. And this is the tweet here that I wanted to post this before, but maybe I just actually schedule this to go out now. What do you guys think? You guys think this is like postable right now? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if this is a good tweet to send out right now. But Pepe, yeah, your favorite part of the day is the MCG show. Look, we really appreciate it. We've worked very, very hard over the last 8 months when the stream started in April. But really, like we went all in on this in August, and this is the result. And we're just getting started. Job's not finished, right? I might even type that in. Jobs not finished. Follow the stream below and watch as the startup tokenization movement makes history. Yeah. What do you think? What do you guys think about that one? I think I like this. I like this. All right, cool. Let me actually send this out real quick. Let me send this out. Send this out in 5 minutes. Look, you guys are getting the behind the scenes look at how some of these tweets go out. Cool. All right. Well, that's that. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you guys so much for the support. It's been amazing, an amazing experience for myself as a trader. I've this show and like walking through my thoughts and everything, especially like on the macro side, it really helps me to lock in on my framework. Just continue to prove my framework, whether it needs to be worked on more or needs to be adjusted, or if it can stay the same. And from the value that we provide on this show, we've helped so many of you guys from what you guys have been telling us. And it just kind of shows me that, again, like I think this is the framework that I keep, and I just share this value with you guys. And just glad that overall you guys are enjoying it. Monad is up a lot today. What? Okay. Well, okay. No need to pay attention to Monad. Zcash is up as well. Okay. Noted. Privacy still on the move. Yeah, I think that's really it. So let's transition to the next thing here. So we have nice little dip on CPT. Maybe we check that out. Here. Let me find the CPT chart, and we can get into it. Let's find it, and we can get into it. Actually, I might even write a bit of I might even do a write up of this as well. Of our macro take from earlier. Top fumbler, GM chill. Glad to see you holding down the fort while the boys are traveling. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Job's not finished, man. We stream every day, bro. We're gonna keep providing as much value for you guys as we possibly can. Um, I see. I like that. I actually saw this tweet. I saw a tweet like this similar. I saw a similar tweet to this like years ago, though, like years ago, saying, just generally, I came into crypto at the November top in 2021. So I didn't really get a chance to see all these things play out before because it's basically been a bear market since then. And I mean, yeah, like, Bitcoin's up and stuff, and there's been like pockets of outperformance, but overall, like we haven't seen that euphoric bull market where everyone's excited about the space and stuff like that. I think the closest that we got to it was Q4, Q1 with the AI agent season. But yeah, like I also have seen the same thing where tokens pump after a conference. I forgot about that. So this is a really good point, Pepe. I'm glad you brought this out. Huck, I used to be bullish on info like that. Seeing that makes me bearish, low key. Oh, the Soju tweet? No, man. Look, I'm actually I think this is a really good time for me to let me see. I'm actually going to share something. I'm actually going to share something with you guys because you said you're kind of bearish on that, which I get the hesitancy, right? Like, market overall just has not been, kind to us. So being, just generally on everything without even taking a second look, probably, probably most of the time here so far. But this is why I kind of I want to push back on this a little bit, Huck. So looking at this chart on Met before we get to that, just for context, again, Met is showing signs of a bottom, right? They're showing signs of a bottom, some sort of double bottom forming here, and it's consolidating. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is looking bearish. So that's the context. Next thing, this tweet. Meteora is literally like a top project on Solana. Yeah, and mind you, the stats from this a little bit old. This is on December 1st, so about a week ago. But generally, these things should hit the same. So you mentioned, actually, let me also take the comments off stage so you guys can actually see. You guys can actually see this tweet that I'm mentioning. So here it is. Met is mispriced under 30 cents. I told you guys that I'm very vocally bullish on Met. And 42 annualized revenue. It's top 25 in crypto, top 6 in revenue on Solana. That surpasses Uniswap, Virtuals, Radium, Curve Finance. And you see all these things are anywhere from 5 to, I don't know if that, I think 5 to what, 10, 15, 20x above current prices. But for generally, 550, 550, 550, 530. So we're, I think, sitting at like 100 and I think 130 or something like that. So again, like multiple X's, multiple X's below, competitors that it beats, right? So again, highly undervalued in terms of how the market values everything else. Not to mention ICM is built on top of Meteor, right? Like everything that is ICM related is on top. But we actually see people like you, Huck, who aren't really like bullish on Met. We see small intern Chad here. I've actually followed him for quite some time. Token holders aren't entitled to anything Met generates revenue wise. Until this changes, you'll hold a meme coin with massive supply overhang, applying old metrics, not really helpful in finding fair market value. I want to push back on this because, again, we know that they're about to provide clarity. And we've seen several people kind of like come out against this, like, Soju kind of like responded to this, Meteor Inside responded to this. And then, Game said, think the trade here is on the word yet going into to the even in December. As long as it's you, as so basically, I can't. This kind of doesn't. I think this is like a grammar thing here. But basically, what he's saying is this is a good R&R trade because the operative word here is yet. We know that they're about to provide some clarity. We know that Meteora historically has always done right by the community, and we know also that Meteora is, one of the biggest protocols on Solana. So to value that less than its competitors, despite the numbers outperforming them, I think will be a mistake. But I think the R&R here is that there's low downside because it's already undervalued, but there's high upside because they're about to provide, on top of the fundamentals and the metrics, they're about to provide some more clarity here at Met Dobby. So Huck, when you say I used to be bullish on info like that, seeing that makes me bearish low key, I understand it because of the way the market has treated us and treated how we view information like this. Maybe over the last, year, I would say on chain has been in a bear market all of 2025. So I understand where you're coming from. Being bearish on things, you would have probably ended up outperforming most times. But we know something materially is about to change with that tweet. And what if they say, 100% of buybacks go to Met, go to the Met token, and they're annualized, they're collecting, they're doing, over 40 mil in volume. They're doing over 600 mil in collected fees annualized. So I mean, it only takes them saying one thing, changing one thing, or implementing one thing for this thing to shoot up. And it's already, again, from a technical chart standpoint, it's already consolidating, already forming a bottom. Who knows? I would say in the days leading up to it, I wouldn't be surprised to see us, I'd say test this level again, maybe. So if you're looking for like entries, I'll draw you guys actually a green box. We decided last week that no more red boxes. I'll do green boxes from this point forward because green means buy, right? So yeah, so a green box here is where this is where I'd put like a potential buy zone, at least for me. If I'm looking at this chart and I'm saying with all the information that we discussed, maybe it kind of pulls back alongside Bitcoin pulling back, if we do get that bearish scenario play out. But yeah, that's the breakdown there on the Met token. Cool. So that's the breakdown. Let's check CPT. See what's up. Let's see what's going on with the chart. I think it's been consolidating really well. It's been consolidating really well, and I wonder if Tom got back to us. No, he hasn't. I was actually going to try to get Tom on here to talk a little bit about the tokenomics. Did you guys see the tokenomics that they just came out with? I'll actually do I'll do something real quick here before we get into CPT, because this is pretty let me see here. This is pretty important information. By the way, real quick before I pull that tweet up, that tweet is live. Go smash it, bro. If you enjoy watching MCG, if you enjoy the content that we post, if you enjoy this show, go show some love on this tweet. Go show some love on this tweet. Appreciate you, Andrew. Thanks for the comment. But yeah, so here's the SOAR tokenomics model that the kind of new, they're calling it the DRP 1.0. So TLDR, same structure, same ownership model, just no perceived supply overhang. So as we know, basically before 90% of the supply would be locked away, right? 90% of all SOAR launches, the supply will be locked away in a custodial wallet. And this would only be unlocked through like a public disclosure mechanism where basically projects would have to ask they would have to ask teams to, essentially, they'd have to ask teams to, or teams would have to ask the community through a public disclosure if they can take on more debt by means of, you know, by means of increasing the supply, and that would essentially come from that 90% custodial wallet. But the market viewed that is, oh my gosh, this is another low float, high FDV scam. On my wallet tracker or on my terminal, it's showing that someone has 90% of the supply. So that caused a lot of just alarm and confusion in the market. So I think this is a really good change because it basically eliminates that. um and as I said in the tweet here, this caused unnecessary confusion. Many failed to understand the DRP standard, even though most of that supply wouldn't hit the market. But what it shows is that the team is taking in feedback, they're reacting quickly, and they're basically meeting traders where they are. Traders are saying we don't want that. We don't like that DRP standard with the 90% lockup. We want something different. So SOAR said sure. So basically, this is what they came out with. They will have a mintable supply, basically, with caps, right? There's a max on that. But in order to mint new supply to increase their debt with SOAR, they would need to be live for at least 3 months. And same thing, they'd submit a proposal to the community and they'll have to file a public disclosure. So essentially with this proposal, it's really a discussion that's happening with the community. They're saying, hey, this is what we need, this is how much debt we need to raise, and this is why we need to do it. Maybe we need it to make some products or secure a partnership or what have you. And essentially the community will kind of discuss that, and they'll decide for themselves whether that's something that they would be willing to mint supply for. And they'll have to file all of this via a public disclosure. And essentially, they're increasing their debt with SOAR. So keep in mind that with the SOAR tokenomics, these teams, they would still need to repay that debt with SOAR by buying up the entire supply that's on the open market. Right. So upon an acquisition, upon a merger, a liquidity event of some sort, the structure says that this first would need to be paid off. This debt with SOAR needs to be paid off before anything else. And so I like that. This is great because it doesn't show that low float, high FDV. Like when you go on, like we're looking at CPT now. If you look here, maybe you can't see it too much, but this says 16 million market cap. But we know the market cap really is only 1.6 million. But people see that 16 mil and they automatically fade it because they think, oh, wow, 90% is locked. Maybe they think it's like, investors got in or some pre-sale or something like that. But I think it's just a massive misunderstanding from the market, like people not really understanding the full SOAR model. And that caused a lot of confusion. And I think that led to, traders not being willing to step in and actually trade these launches that happen. So once this new once this new DRP 1.0 tokenomics kick in, I think it'll be much better for price discovery and just general overall discovery of the markets. So, or general overall discovery of the tokens that launch in the market. So yeah. So definitely a bullish update. Feel free to check out their full article that's written here. But I wanted to put out that update. And so they did say that older tokens like that have already launched, like CPT, they will continue or they will migrate to this new tokenomics model. Might take some time, but essentially, all these launches moving forward will be under this new tokenomics. But yeah, CPT is looking good, Pepe. It's looking great. Same consolidation action happening here on CPT that we see across the most of the market right now. It's really not much like happening. Like it's really just like a lot of just consolidation. That's the best way that I can describe it. Um, I would even say, let me see how Avicii is doing. I think Avicii's on a little bit of a pullback, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. Yeah, on a little bit of a pullback. Let's actually redraw some of these lines. I like to go on the candle closes, but still, again, like still looking really good, still looking really bullish. Probably a place to step in if I was looking at this chart and I wasn't exposed. Um, we're at like a nice little 36% pullback into support. Good DCA one at the very least here on Avicii. That's happening now. Let's look at Solo. Let's see how Solo is looking. Wow. Oh, wow. So look at that, boys. Look at that, boys. Another green box ticked off. Look, all you got to do is set limit orders. That's it. But look, my green boxes have been playing out extremely well. So awesome to see this play out here. It looks really, really good. So that's Solo. Solo's looking good, bouncing off that bottom there. Let's see, what else can we look into? Have you guys checked out Repo? Um, that's also a really nice. I covered this one. It's a base. It is on base. It is a base project, and I was actually gonna put out a tweet on this at some point. But here's the chart on Repo. And Crypto Jones. I'll review PVS here in a second. Still bullish, yes, still bullish. But here's Repo. Basically been, up only. These red boxes are 50% pullbacks on Repo. So we've had, in the last several weeks, we've had multiple 50% down moves that have basically been bought up, and they continue to be bought up. And so this one, let's see, we formed a little bit of a high here, and so far we've pulled back, 50% almost. And look, it's already like, dips already being bought up. I mean, look at these wicks right here, man. Let me just zoom in on that so you guys can actually see. Look at those wicks. That it's buy pressure, buy pressure, buy pressure, buy pressure. And now we've actually closed a high time frame candle. This is the 8-hour chart. Really good for just structure, higher time frame, more reliable price action. But yeah, I mean, looking absolutely phenomenal here. As these dips continue to get bought up. So that's Repo. Let's see here. Let me look at PVS. Let's see what PVS has for us. I haven't checked the PVS chart in a bit. I think it's below like 3 mil or something like that. It is a long-term play though. It's one of those bags that, I'm in it for the long haul, man. So here's PVS. I haven't talked about it on stream in a long time. So there's that. Basically, we've been in this sort of down channel here for a long time, and that's kind of the overall structure here on PVS. We've seen some pumps, but nothing explosive, nothing aggressive. And then too, I think we're also waiting on some updates for the team. But honestly, like I haven't really paid attention much to or PVS as of late. I just kind of I know it's a long-term play. Like there's not going to be much to look at in the short term. And the more I check the chart, the more I am tempted to let my emotions take over, if that makes any sense, right? if a chart is consolidating or it's downtrending, and let's just zoom in. This is just kind of my trading philosophy, because some people, like, they're like, they heard this when I was on the spaces one time and they're like, what do you mean? Um, let me just draw out a quick box. Boom. All right. So if I'm constantly checking the chart, right? Like the and this is a daily chart, by the way. So I'm constantly checking the chart. If I'm on a lower time frame, these pumps look crazy good. They look like, oh my gosh, PVS is up only. And then same thing on the reverse side, right? Like when these charts, when these moves reverse, same thing on a lower time frame. They're like, we're like, oh my gosh, PVS is dumping, blah blah blah. Same thing here. Oh my goodness, it's pumping. Oh my goodness, it's dumping. Oh my goodness, it's pumping. Oh my goodness, it's dumping. And you're going through this just this loop of like emotions, right? Like you're oh my gosh, it's up. Oh my gosh, it's down. Oh my gosh, it's up. Oh my gosh, it's down. And really, what you're exposing yourself to by doing that, by constantly watching charts, is you're putting yourself at risk for making an emotional decision. And I know it's very hard. I'm not saying like I'm some goated trader that like performs like a robot, and I never make any emotional decisions, because I'm human. And it's because I know that I'm human, because I know that naturally, emotions can play a big part in how you in how you trade. Um, remove emotions by not looking at the chart. I look at the fundamentals. I see that it's a massive company. I see like the TAM is massive. I see that they have, the team, from a company standpoint, who's on their team, who's pushing this forward, is massive. I see who is reliant on their technology, who's worked with them before. I've seen, who's vouching for their tech. Like, I've seen all of these things. So if I know that it's good, like, I'm not just going to keep on looking at the chart, looking at the chart, looking at the chart, just to put myself through this emotional roller coaster of, oh my gosh, it's up. Oh my gosh, it's down. Oh my gosh, it's up. Oh my gosh, it's down. When in reality, it's really not moving a lot. I mean, when you look at the hourly chart, and we go back to where some of these things, where we've seen some of these pumps look crazy on the hourly chart. Let me look at this. These pumps look crazy on the hourly chart. If you don't think those green candles will give you a nice little dopamine hit, like those, like just looking at that, like, oh my gosh, it's going up. Like, you're really putting yourself at risk for making an emotional decision. So what I do is I zoom out. I realize that although, yes, on a low time frame, it looks like it's pumping, it really hasn't gone anywhere yet. We haven't breached all-time highs. We haven't even made a higher high in a long time. So in fact, we continue to make new lows, marginally, though, marginally. But that's what happens with on chain. That's what happens when, people aren't necessarily paying attention. Um, they are just making an emotional decision. And I would love if PVS actually launched on, SOAR, or like a MetaDAO or something, like, so they have those additional kind of ownership mechanisms at play. But ultimately, I know that the token is going to be a key part of the economy, a key part of the utility, a key part of what they have, what they have to offer moving forward. So I'm not going to panic. I'm just going to slowly accumulate over time and not look at the chart. Okay. So yeah, that's the am I still bullish on PVS? Absolutely I am. And nothing is really going to change my mind on that. And I'll just keep watching the team. I'll keep seeing how they move, and I'll just wait for this chart here to play out. But I do think that PVS is likely to be a pretty big project here in 2020, 2026. Real quick, Pepe, since listening to y'all, I can confirm, if anyone has been listening to y'all, they will be up. I had two wallets. One was a Degen wallet, and another was ICM wallet. I'm fully up from ICM tokens. Wow. Look, yo, Pepe, you should send that send that into the comment section under my recent post, bro. If you guys are listening, you guys receive value from MCG, from these streams. I'm actually going to link my post in the comments, so that way you guys can just interact with them. I mean, look, just tell the people the truth. Tell them, tell them that you came. Tell them that you came. Tell them that you got some value, and just and just take it from there, right? But let me do this. I'm gonna post this in the section for you guys. Give me a second while I do that. Boom. All right, so you guys should see comment here coming up in just a second. But what else would you guys like to cover today? Honestly, today, like I mentioned earlier, isn't going to be a long stream. It's going to be relatively short. We have a ton coming up this week with Met Dobby. We have a ton coming up this week with Trader Radio. Tomorrow we have one of the homies coming on. And look, these aren't going to be like all of these guys aren't going to be like these massive KOLs or something like that. Some of them will be, but a lot of them are true hunters, bro. True people who look for really good projects, and they have a really good system that has led to a lot of success, and they have a story that is worth telling. So that's something to look forward to this week. Real quick, I guess let's check in on CT. Let's see what's going on there. Give me one sec. All right. So like I mentioned, going back to our charts from earlier, Bitcoin respecting the downtrend. And let me take this comment off of the screen so you guys can actually see it. And there's a tweet. Go smash that. Make it your MCG review survey feedback and make the comment section that. But yeah, so we know that Bitcoin respecting the downtrend, ETH respecting the downtrend, although it does look a little strong here. Solana still in the down channel, right? But Fartcoin is up, and it's just very interesting to note. I wanted to share a tweet with you guys on that part of things. Let me show you the tweet here. From the homie Market Watcher. Still in capital building phase, under 100K and trading with small size. Day trade meme coins. Rotate your profits regularly, even by evening, into SOL. Keep learning. Find your personal edge in the meme coin game. Build your first 100K. Then rotate your SOL into fiat, move it to your bank, and start a savings plan in a global ETF. That's your foundation. Understand the dynamics, master the tools and trading platforms, and only scale your size once you've proven consistent profitability. No matter what I trade, stocks, altcoins, or metals, I'll always use this. Many traders laugh at meme coins, but their volatility, daily opportunities, rotating liquidity, and raw emotion make them one of the best ways to build capital through trading, while teaching you the toughest lessons fast. So I really like this, and he kind of goes into detail here throughout the rest of the thread, and there's some other things that he goes through, like his personal experience and stuff like that. But Market Watcher, just to give you guys some background on this guy, if you look at his pinned tweet, he's 31. He's built his own wealth in crypto. He's retired his family, and basically like Market Watcher doesn't have a Telegram. He's not in Telegram groups. He's literally a pure chartist, like a pure trader. Ave, what up, G? What's up? GM, GICM, GMCG. Hope you're doing well. G Soar, my guy, G Soar as well. But yeah, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. But yeah, Market Watcher, really, really good dude, really good chat. And I know that I say this all the time. Like, I know that we're an ICM show. Like, we like utility, we like value. Um, we like things that hold weight in the market. But personally, I also like things that provide. I'm a trader as well. I'm a trader at heart. So I'm a fundamental guy. I dig into, metrics, and I do long form posts and that stuff. But I don't mind. I don't mind meme coins. I think meme coins, again, because of the innate volatility, it provides opportunity um, for you to get gains, just flip, for you to build capital over time. Actually, real quick, there's a few examples of this that I wanted to show you guys. Um, let's see a few examples, because again, when we say trading meme coins, I don't mean like stalking pump fund launchpad to buy a sub 100K token, and in hopes that it'll go higher. Not that kind of trading. That's hope. Not that kind of trading. Like, let's, for example, real quick, let's look at let us look at a few meme coins. So first, let's take a look at 67. Let's take a look at 67. I guess I have to copy the CA. Let me go copy the CA to put it into Moby here. All right, boom. Let's see. So here's 67, right? These charts, I like to look at them on high time frames, right? Obviously we see like it's volatility, right? It goes up a lot, it goes down a lot. But if you can take these things in context, context with the narrative that is around said token, or with the overall position that the broader market is in, it's actually a really great place for gain. So, for example, these green candles here, is just discovery. That's really all it is. It's just discovery. It's the market discovering a new narrative. And we can even see the same thing playing out here. It's just the market discovering a new narrative. It's exciting. Dopamine gets hit. When you go into these charts, though, like, real quick, let's just go down to a 4-hour on some of these. When these things go up a lot, again, volatility, they go up a lot, they go down a lot. Real quick, I want to see where this hit on the fib. I'm curious. 0.786. Look, anybody who's followed me for any length of time knows that I love the 0.786 level on a chart. So let me do this real quick. I wonder if this will show up here. Perfect. So here's this. 0.786 is typically a nice level to buy on certain charts, because at that point the chart just looks down only. It looks like it's not going anywhere. And lo and behold, it hits another discovery wave on CT. But even if you're like just day trading, even if you're just looking at like little opportunities in an asset that the market has, that the market is hyped about, you can honestly just day trade some of these pullbacks. I think the best. Yes, I'm gonna cover Donut as well, Top Fumbler. I got you. I'm gonna cover Donut. My boy, my boy told me about it. But on some of these bounces, like, and again, for context, this is more so those that are like have like a lower size. You're in a capital building stage, right? Um, Bang, 100, like that's 100% move right there. Uh, Here's another 100% move, I believe. Oh, no, that's 57, but it reached almost 100 as well. So some of these moves on some of these charts, like, again, it's just volatility, and there's opportunity here with the volatility in meme coins, and And that's just one of many examples. But I just hate when people say, oh, like meme coins are terrible and we shouldn't trade meme coins at all because they have no innate value, they have no intrinsic value. Like, of course they don't have any value, but they're the purest form of human emotions on charts. They're the purest form of human emotions on charts. I mean, look at Franklin. Franklin was a pretty big token recently. That had a lot of volatility. Um, that had a lot of volatility. Like if you were trading this volatility, and again, you go through these waves of discovery, and it is a tricky. It's not like easy, right? Like it's not easy for this to go up like this, round trip the entire move, and then for you to buy it. That's not easy to do. Like because sometimes it's like wow, like um this thing could essentially die. So there's a whole strategy around sizing, around risk management, but you look for these high R&R areas where you can actually buy a potential retracement. And then because look, if you bought down here, maybe you didn't catch the exact bottom, maybe you bought somewhere here, that's still a 3x, almost 4x right there on not even a bottom buy. You know what I mean? So just something to be aware of. Again, just opportunities in this market always. And I don't fade an opportunity because it's not wrapped in purely an ownership token or an ICM token or something like that. It doesn't need to be wrapped in a specific narrative for me to buy I just buy a chart that looks good and I buy a token that looks good. So yeah, that's that. So like what I do is I have an ICM list. You know, you can say ICM slash utility slash ownership coin list, but then I also have a meme coin list, right? So if there are setups that I'm not like trying to buy like sub 100K and really trying to like catch these, play like I'm some on-chain wizard from a low market cap, because we ultimately know there's a lot of PvP, there's a lot of scamming, there's a lot of stuff going on when at those lower market caps with insiders trading, stuff like that. But when they get to these larger market caps, and the price action on a higher time frame is actually like the price action on the higher time frames are actually digestible. Like they give you good context. It looks good on the chart. It's actually something you can chart up and trade. Um, it's for me, I can trade those setups. So I'm gonna go after them. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Obviously need to, manage risk, manage your approach and all that good stuff. But that's my approach. Okay. Outside of that, you guys mentioned, yeah, Donut. So Donut was one that I saw recently, and I saw it because the homie DeFi Fur, let me actually pull his Twitter page up. DeFi Fur actually bought Donut. He's been talking about it quite a bit. Oh yeah, see, there you go. If you like Donut at 5 mil, you should love it at 1.8 million market cap. And this is basically kind of the backstory behind Donut. I believe this is a good post here. So basically it's making a lot of revenue, daily revenue over 12K, making it the top 10 revenue generating protocol on Base according to DeFi Llama. If we compare that to OR revenue, 12K daily versus 135K daily, there's a 10x gap. 250K FDV versus 375 million FDV. And so basically kind of goes through some of that. Let me see if there is another Donut post, because I kind of want to know. I never like research. I've heard about it, but I never actually like took the time to really dig in and research it. But I know that DeFi Fur, he actually did a post. He actually did some posts on this. Let me see if I can find a post real quick. But that's really all it is just revenue generating protocol. It's but I want to know how it's generating this revenue. So let me let me actually just pivot to the chart real quick. Let's um let's look at the donut chart and see what it has to offer us. Donut on base down 61% on the day. Very scary drop. So makes it, not really a bad place. I don't like buying tops. I like buying bottoms, bros. I like buying bottoms. So let's see. That's the daily chart. Let me look at the 4 hour. Let's look at that. So real quick on the daily, again, I like to pull out fibs. So we're kind of at that 0.786 level here on donut. So with that said, let me just make this not in below and above. Perfect. Let's look at a lower time frame real quick. Let's see what we have. So we're at the 0.786 level. This is a nice area of support here as well. Not too bad of a buy zone, if you ask me. If this is me and I'm looking at this personally and looking to enter, and then it's also retesting like an old sort of like wick all-time high. I don't really like basing it off wicks though. I like really solid candle bodies. Where it closes is honestly more important in my opinion versus where it wicked to. Um, so yeah, not a bad place. But this is sort of knife catching here. I think an ultimate bottom would be like below 90,000. Not market cap. This is the price of this. Apparently, the market cap is 1.5 million. I guess let's just go based on market cap real quick. Um, hold on, that was market cap. Wait a second. This is 150, bro. This is 150. This is 150K market cap. I thought the it was like in the millions. All right, I'm gonna check out this tweet by AIXBT real quick. Let's see. So this tweet by AIXBT. Let me hide that. Donut retracement right now really looks like or retracement before the mega run. Let's see, man. Let's see this because I'm looking here. I see a 1.5 mil market cap. So I'm thinking it's like a much higher market cap. I thought this was the prices. I didn't really know that I didn't have it on the price side um here on the chart. So let me just real quick rechart some of that. Boom. So I don't know, man. Usually we don't like covering stuff that's this low market cap, but honestly, I thought it was 1.6 mil. So I'm kind of confused to be honest. Like Top Fumbler, um, is this 1.6 mil market cap? Is it 150K? Can you like help me to understand what's going on here? Because this is really confusing. Um, let's see here. What else? What else? The AI XBT post. Let me try to find that real quick. AI XBT, and then this will be the last thing that we say. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this is a 1 million plus protocol. I don't see anything that tells me otherwise. So I'm gonna stick with this is 1.5 million market cap. So all right, let's see here. So Donut, let's see what AI XBT has said about Donut recently. And Top Fumbler, I can't copy and paste that tweet that you put in the chat. Maybe DM it to me and I can pull it up that way. If that's a little better for you. Yeah, that would be a little easier for me to find the tweet. But here's the list of tweets that AIXBT has been saying. This is the list of what AIXBT has been saying about Donut. You're trading low cap based meme coins and expect 100% hit rate. Donut did 16x in 3 days. before you probably ate the top. This isn't index investing. Holy crap, Mog. Yo, Top Fumbler, DM those links to me, bro. Oh, yes, you did. You did. Yeah, DM that. Oh, perfect, bro. You're a freaking Chad. You are a Chad. We're out here. Appreciate you DMing, bro. Appreciate you. So here's the tweet about Donut. Donut generates 4 million monthly revenue at a 4 million market cap, or at least it was. And this also is saying $1 million market cap. So I'm also going to assume that we're at 1.5 million and not 150K. But with that said, revenue at 4 million monthly produces 80% of virtual protocols total revenue, but trades at 0.4% of Virtual's 560 mil valuation. Just halved December 7th, with tokenomics shifting to buyback and burn only. When an AI agent makes its entire market cap every month and the market doesn't, and market hasn't noticed, you're looking at the cleanest mispricing in crypto. Holy, okay. All right, now we really have to look into Donut, guys. Now we really got to look into this thing and figure out what the heck this is. Let's see. This is actually a really, really nice. I think I might have found a nice post on it as well. But I want to find like a thread, like a thread that tells me a little bit more about Donut. And let me see if I can just pull up. Let me just pull up their website real quick, and let's just look through their website. Yeah, I mean, that's actually pretty insane. You're making 4 million monthly. That's, well, that was comparable to your market cap. You're one of the top revenue generating protocols of on virtuals. You're producing 80% of virtual protocols revenue. And right now you're sitting at 1.5 mil. Interesting, in my opinion. Very, very interesting. So here's the website. Let's see here. I don't, definitely not going to connect my wallet. All right, let's go to the Dune dashboard. Let's do that. There's a Dune dashboard that's on the website. So I just clicked on it, and this is what it says. Let's see here. All right. Donut price, days till halving. Okay, so before I dig into these metrics, I want to know what this is. Like, where's the information at? Where's the thread? So Glaze Corp. I'm gonna go to the Twitter. I'm gonna go to their Twitter account and see what I can find. Let's see here. So here's their Twitter account. Because I didn't know this was like an AI agent type thing. 3 weeks since I launched Donut Miner on Base. Comprehensive miner info thread. Thread below. Okay, nice. All right, looks like we're getting somewhere here. So how it works. One person can mine Donut at a time by paying current glaze price. Price to take over glazing begins low and doubles each time it's taken over. Price cools back down to 0 over 1 hour until it gets taken again. 80% of glaze price goes back to previous glazer. Okay. Burn Donut ETH to claim current Blaze fees. 50%. Okay. Price starts low and doubles each time it's paid, cools down over a day. Of each glaze, 80% of fees goes to previous glazer, 15% of fees go to liquidity, buyback, and burn, 5% of fees go to front end provider. Okay, so still need some more info here. I think this was a really nice. Thread here. I studied donut for 48 hours. Here's why it's not a joke. And this is just the post, not me saying that. This is just me reading the post. First off, is one of the earliest analysts to call OR at $7 before it ran to over 8,000, ran 8,000% to 600. OR succeeded because it did three things flawlessly: simple mint meta, anyone could participate; scarcity per block mechanic, the chain created the narrative; identity, utility, it became a cultural primitive; base had no equivalent primitive. Until donut, a digital gold with a Dutch auction twist. Here's the part most people don't get. Donut isn't mined, it's conquered, one address at a time. The chain crowns a single miner, the king glazer, who prints tokens until someone else buys the throne. This isn't inflation, it's combat. The donut mechanism is stupidly elegant. Price to become king equals Dutch auction. Every buy, price doubles. Every minute, price decays towards zero. In other words, liquidity, psychology, and reflexivity are literally encoded into the mint loop. That's why it moves like a digital gold on caffeine. And the Ponzinomics, clean, beautiful, and mathematically shameless. 80% of every takeover fee, uh, 80% of every takeover fee goes to the previous king. 15% goes to the glazed treasury to fuel buybacks, burns, and liquidity. A perfect loop where greed funds the narrative and the narrative recruits new greed. Huh, interesting. Okay. Okay. So essentially there's a king that you have to buy into, right? There's a king that you have to buy into. And I guess all of this action, all of this, these incentives to do one thing over a next, because I think being the king, according to like, I guess according to the tokenomics, one person, if you're like the king glazer, can mine donut by paying the current glaze price. Interesting, interesting. So got it, got it. So that's what's attracting people. Got it. I think I'm starting to understand this now. So that's what's attracting people. Basically, you have this, you have a king glazer that you have to pay to be. Once you are the king glazer, you basically get to mint donut. So you can be a king glazer, you can be the king by paying the donut price. The price begins low, and then it increase each time someone glazes, or I guess someone becomes the king. 80% of the glaze price, 80% of the fees go to the previous glazer, and basically 15. So I guess that's the incentive, right? Like you're getting a ton of revenues being generated, and basically this incentivizes people to be the king to earn 80% of some of these fees. And then if someone wants to now be the it's like an endless loop of new people that want to be the king because they get the fees. And so basically, as long as the fees continue to go up, I think that will continue to, like the thread said, recruit new greed, recruit new people. I guess it's a Ponzi at the end, sort of, kind of. I don't want to put that label on it before fully understanding it. This is my first time actually digging into the project. I've heard about it, seen it around, but haven't actually took time to sit down and think about everything and put it all together. But but yeah. So that's the glaze. And looking at the revenue again, like treasury revenue is massive, over half a mil so far. And this has been live for, let's see, this has been live for a little under a month, I believe. And I think it's just recently kind of catching on. Um, okay. So we could have something here. It's a risky play though. It's a risky play. But as you can see, um, the daily spend and earn continues to go up. The daily treasury revenue continues to go up, and I think that's the most important metric, is the daily revenue. I think this is the most important, because as long as this continues to go up, then pretty much everything else works out. Interesting project though. Basically a Ponzi proof of work. Yeah, basically. Great. Fun play. Nothing to throw your entire portfolio in or anything like that. But if it was me, this was more like something, I can throw some play money at. What else? What else here? Let me take a look. I'm seeing something. So let me do a quick scan. Do a quick scan here. All right. Look at that, huh? Look at that, huh? Job's not finished, guys. Let's go. Job's not done. Um, so let's look at CT. Let's look on CT. Let's see what people are saying. Apparently, so you don't use. Let's check. Let's check. Earlier today, Bitcoin jumped 2,500 and liquidated 70 million worth of longs, and then it dumped 2,200 and liquidated 61 million worth of shorts. All this happened in the last 12 hours. An example of clear market manipulation to wipe out both leveraged longs and shorts. Yeah, I'm not touching leverage right now, bro. I like to touch leverage in trending environments, right? Like environments where like there's euphoria, people are coming in the market, people are excited, um, and all that good stuff. Top Fumbler, thoughts on Donut. I think I covered it. I think I covered it. Like, yeah, no perps, Pepe, no freaking perps. Uh, not now, not now, but potentially soon. But potentially soon. But yeah, thoughts on Donut, Top Fumbler. I mean, look, it's a risky play. There's some Ponzi-nomics involved. It's at a decent pullback level, so the downside is a little bit more limited here. Um, it's a decent buy zone. For if I was the one like with the money, and if I was the one buying this chart, this would be a decent place to buy. But what would drive this revenue is my question. It is, the Ponzi game, right? Like the game of being the king, and like being able to get those fees. And the treasury is also, at 600K, I think, or so, from when we just looked. So it's not a bad play. But it is a risky one, right? Like it is a risky one. So I'd adjust. If I was looking at this chart, I'd adjust for that level of risk, but don't mind taking a stab. Don't mind taking a stab. Because it does give me those ore vibes, So yeah. Um, but getting back to this discussion here, you're right, Pepe. No perps, no freaking perps, brother. I mean, this market has been clearly been manipulated. Clearly. So yeah, when I do get to trading perps, like again, I like to do it in a trending environment. I don't need us to be. And when I say trending environment, it doesn't need to. Let me correct myself. It doesn't need to be in a totally trending environment, right? There just has to be, clear invalidation, clear upside, manage downside. So, like for example, the other week, I was thinking about looking at, I was thinking about Solana here because I saw it. I think we were on stream or shortly after on yeah, Monday at 12. Yeah, so we're on stream at this point. I saw this. I'm like, wow, this is actually not a bad place to buy to long because it's, the downside is what? $2 less. That'll be my stop. But then the upside would be an upside. I was initially thinking when I first looked at this that oh, actually, I'm not even sharing my screen here, so let me do that real quick. But yeah, like not to correct myself, not um like you don't need to be in a trending environment, but the setup needs to be clear. The setup needs to be very easy for me to take part. So here was December 1st at 12 something, at like 12 o'clock. I remember being on stream. I'm like, wow, it's actually not a bad place to long because essentially this is what the long setup would look like. You'd have your long here. You set your stop below this low, and then I initially was going to target here. And that's like an 8R trade, like an 8-9R trade. On 10x, that actually not too bad, and end up, going even more than that. So I like trades like that where it's like very defined. Like I don't want to take a trade here. I don't want to take a trade here. This is like support is all the way down here, resistance is all the way up here. I mean, at least on the higher time frame, not something I like. I like higher time frame setups. So like kind of scoping on a 12-hour, and then on a lower time frame, like I know this is support right here. I know this is support. So what I would do is I'd go down to a lower time frame and I'd look to see what's happening. I like to go to like the 2-hour to start. And if on this 2-hour, I'm like, oh wow, okay, so we tested 123. Oh wow, okay, well, like we're looking like we want to go up again, and maybe I don't get involved until the second close above the support, because once it closes above, that's when I actually start getting more bullish on it. So maybe here is where I get involved down here, and then bang, enjoy the upside. So yeah, just trades like that, man. Like I'm not no chartist. I'm not I'm not a world class leverage trader, right? Like I make my mistakes and stuff like that, but there is a difficulty level where you can still potentially be pretty profitable. So yeah, not mindless leverage, right? Not mindless leverage. Um, so yeah, that's my take there. Let's see. Next year, and BTC is headed to 74K. If I had to guess, Q1. Yeah, maybe. I'm actually not. I look again. We've talked about my Bitcoin setup earlier, where we have this head and shoulders here. We have a bear flag. We're into resistance. Like there's just a ton that we're fighting up against right now. I don't know if I don't know how soon this would be, but I wouldn't be surprised to see if we kind of like, if we test some of these lower levels, whether we go up first or down straight to it. That's up for the markets to decide. But I think I'm leaning on more downside here. But the fact that there's a ton of liquidations at like a key level at 74K, it just tells you if the market is being manipulated, like we just saw in the last tweet, and they want to catch as many people offside as they can and liquidate as many people as they can, then that's not it's not a bad place, not a bad place to target. Um, let's see what else we got. Um, What else we got? I know Mirage. He's been pretty bullish here. He's been pretty bullish here. I think there's still a case for more upside, but um, wow. Let's see here. Rift Finance. We talked about this a little bit last week. Our arbitrage layer has now generated nearly 150 SOL in realized returns. While infrastructure development and expansion continue, we executed a 50 SOL buyback funded entirely by Arbot revenue. This marks the first practical example of how the Rift's revenue engine will be recycled back into the ecosystem to reinforce long-term value. So, okay, cool. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. It's a project that I'm interested in. I might even try to get them on the show. But looking really good. Looking really good here. Some There was some more Avicii news. I saw that um their metrics are going crazy. Credit created, spend volume, spend transactions, monthly active users, revenue, spend retention, like all of that stuff is up. All the metrics are up and to the right. So, Avicii continues to dominate here. We talked about this Franklin meme. I haven't even looked into the meme or exactly what it is, but since we've talked about it just a few minutes ago, it's actually just like been ripping here live on stream. Um, so yeah, it's just something I'll keep a note of. Um, let's see here. Let's see. Oh, the white whale meme. I don't know. Are you guys in that white whale meme by any chance? Let me know. Let me know. Avicii price action. Yeah, we covered the Avicii price action a little bit earlier. Um, but we can take a look at again for you, Ken God TS. Um, let's see here. Bang. Let's revisit this. Um, so yeah, so looks like big not Bitcoin, Avicii here. What is going on with Kabuto? We'll check that in a sec too. Avicii here looks like it's kind of poking below this key support that we drew out just a little bit ago. Um, we don't know at the same time if this is just going to be a wick, right? So let's look at the lower time frame. Let's see exactly what we're exactly. So yeah, I mean, even on a lower time frame, this has just happened with this Avicii price action. So I want to see number one, is it just a wick, or are we going for a serious correction here on Avicii? It's hard to believe because again, we just covered it a few seconds ago. Um, all the metrics on Avicii are up 2x, 3x, retention, spend, credit creation, all that stuff is up and to the right. So if the chart is going down, then that means that there's a mispricing going on in the market, in my opinion, when the business fundamentals are getting better, but the price is getting worse. Um, so there's that. If we do see an extended breakdown, like let's say, hold on, let's wait for Moby to refresh. Cool. So if this continues to go down, and I can if this continues to go down as much as it is, if we pick up a little bit of volume, because you can kind of say, oh well, this could be a double top for Avicii, and we revisit this sort of $2.60 level or something like that. Could potentially happen, right? That could potentially happen. Um, but I mean, honestly, anywhere in here is a really good range. If I was looking at this chart, I would say that this is a good buy zone for myself if I was the one considering buying. Yeah, because I mean, look, spend volume tripled to 2.5 million. Transactions are up 3x. Active users doubled. I mean, I don't know what better news the markets want. I really don't know what better news the markets want than that. So yeah, looking good across the board here, guys. Looking good across the board here. Not bad. Let's check out Kabuto. Check out Kabuto. see what we have. See what we got going on. Because I remember this was another meme that, people kind of said, oh, this kind of died or whatever. Yeah, I remember this being this going up. Everyone's, raving about it, and then it just again looks like it died. I wonder. Let's look at a higher time frame real quick. Let's see here. I mean, I guess the low would be here. I don't know. Kind of different, but look at that, man. Look at that, man. 0.786, dude. Do we see this? Actually, let me help to draw this out a little bit more clear, guys. Um, let me see. Boom. Let's delete. Let's go here. Let's go here. And as you can see, look at that. Again, I like to chart on a higher time frame because it just gives you a little bit more confidence with the chart. But man, like if you even just like set a buy for this 0.786, you're already up almost 2x just with this little pump right here. But again, like opportunities are like they show up daily, and you don't need to be looking at like 100K market cap, sub 100K market cap new launches on Pump Fund to make money on some of these meme coins, man. You can just like bid, like even if even if you just bought again right on, because we see a little confluence here, on again, I like to prioritize like a cluster of like candle bodies. So this would have been a buy zone for me. This would have been the ideal buy zone to like place my bet in, because again, there's more support here. There's this 0.786 level. And this is where the support is, and so you're basically up. If you bought in here, you're basically up 2x. But again, just great opportunities continuing to show themselves in the market. You don't have to like go. You don't have to go after all of them. You don't have to buy new launches. You don't have to gamble. All you have to do is look at the chart, find the best charts that you can find, and maybe you do a little DD on the narrative and stuff. But with memes, that's pretty easy. So yeah, we're absolutely looking good. Hey guys, check this chart out, huh? Look at that. So this was a tweet by the homie Gammy Chan. He basically said, easy to write off the people saying we haven't had the real bull yet as idiots, just to point to BTC being up 8x and laugh at them. But for the first time ever, we've had a BTC run without some of the major coincident factors that have always been a part of the Bitcoin bull runs. It's prudent to at least acknowledge this, ask why, ask why, and ask how you believe this may affect future outcomes. It's a fact that some very significant things were different during this Bitcoin up cycle. So I implore you to consider how they might be different in a down cycle, or if we're even in a down cycle as we know them. So I think really good. This is a really good perception to have. And I'll even apply this to on chain. And again, I'll even apply it to the little meme coins, the meme coins that we were looking at just now. Look, this cycle has been different. It has been very different than previous cycles. Bitcoin made a high before. Bitcoin made a high before had the halving. Bitcoin made a high before the halving. The altcoins didn't broadly get that overall euphoric outperformance that they usually get with some of these Bitcoin bull markets. Let me see if I can even pull up the ISM chart as well. Do I have that? Do I have the ISM chart? I don't. But from what I know, even the ISM, the overall business cycle, even that hasn't really went above 50, which it usually does in the past Bitcoin bull markets. So again, we have to kind of consider, okay, what's different about the current bull market and what could be different moving forward about the down market, right? Like we know that in the bull market it has been materially different. If Bitcoin is about to approach a bear market, or if it's going to, go through this sort of like bottoming consolidation process, like how could that affect the rest of the market? Or even if we are really going to reverse into this uptrend in 2026, you know, is this a time to reconsider our approach to markets? And honestly, I think for many people it is. For us, you're watching this show, so you know that the 4-year cycle, is not. You know that liquidity is the main driver of markets. You know the approach that we've taken over the last months, and you're prepared for higher. So if you've been watching this show, you're positioned correctly. You have the right view on markets. Not forcing your own narrative on the market itself, but allowing kind of having a good idea of where things are, but still being willing to change when necessary, right? So very, very good perspective here. But look, guys, I mean, it's been a pretty, like, it hasn't been the best day, or it's not been a high activity day. I think, markets are still pretty choppy. Bitcoin is, Bitcoin is dumping. So I might end up like writing up some posts, putting some tweets out later on today. But ultimately, um, I think maybe set a trade or two on a setup that you like today. But otherwise, touch grass, man. Enjoy some of these times, because we're not going to have them all the time. We're not going to have them all the time. We're going to be begging for these days when the actual real bull market kicks in, and it's actually our on-chain bags are pumping and stuff like that. So definitely take the time to touch grass when you can, and just prioritize the one or two setups that you might see on a daily. Maybe do a little quick trade. But yeah, other than that, just chill out. Don't trade perps here. Do not trade perps here, bro. Don't just you know don't chop your portfolio trying to force trades in this environment. Let's see. Oh, top fumbler. Top fumbler. Yeah, there might be a lag on the chat. But he said, check DM real quick. Let me read you guys DM. I think there's a massive he said, I meant thoughts on the effect Virtual's ACF is having on Repo's chart with these massive nukes. So I need to read up a little bit more on the Virtual's ACF. I haven't. I mean, you guys know we're mainly we mainly trade on Solana. Like I only trade a few things on base over really even the course of this year. I think the few things that I've traded would be like KTA, a little bit of base fart coin, and now Repo. And Ray as well from earlier this year. But like other than those, like I haven't really traded on base like that. So I have to like do a little bit more digging. Got to do a little bit more digging here on the Virtuals ACF. But what I do know is that the team, they're working on, they apologize publicly, and I know that's something that they're working closely with the repo team on, making sure that everything is smooth. I guess the core team is bullish. The core contributor team of Virtuals is bullish on repo. That's why I was interested in the first place. And as you can see on this repo chart, we were just talking about the let me change here. We were just talking about the red boxes, right? How they showed that, these 50% dips are getting freaking eaten up, man. And that's exactly what's happening here. 50% down, and these dips are getting eaten. So for me, if there is sell pressure being caused by the virtual ACF, I'm assuming that sell pressure, and again, need to do more research, but assuming that number one, that sell pressure will run out at some point, and number two, people are getting some entries that they want off of this. Dips are getting bought up aggressively, and so I think overall the buy side pressure is overpowering anything else, and there's not a lot of willing sellers at these lower prices. So overall, for me, looks good, feels good. Not gonna touch this trade or downgrade the opportunity on this trade because of the virtual ACF. But again, need to do a little bit more research. So yeah. Let's see here real quick. Pepe, you wanted me to look at Gabriel. Good entry. Let's check. Let's see. Gabriel. I don't even know what this is. I don't know what I'm walking into. 530K market cap. Oof. So here's the thing. I'm good with a lot of these dips on something above 1 million, right? Something that has like mind share and something that has a narrative that a lot of people have caught on to. But the lower the market cap, the more risk that you play. Y'all had them on, but don't think you were on that day. Oh. Let me check here. Let me see what they have. Same thing though for like anything. Foundational AI. Got it. Yeah, I have to do a little bit more research because I was not on that day. I was not on that day, but depending on, let's see. I wonder why they dumped, to be honest. Here's one of their latest tweets. The agentic AI safety and alignment market, 18 billion plus by 2030. Big labs burn 100 mil plus per year on alignment and still struggle. Foundation Labs just dropped Gabriel, a portable alignment seed that actually works on almost any LLM anywhere. They didn't outspend the giants, they outthought them. Real groundbreaking, real breakthrough, zero hype. So I have to look a little bit more into this one purely from a charts perspective. Again, with micro caps, you run the good thing about utility micro caps, right? Is like you can actually the good thing with utility micro caps is you actually have found fundamentals that actually help you to get that can help you to justify higher prices. With memes, that's not something you can do confidently. But let's just take a look at this chart. These micro caps are super volatile, so this price action is something to expect. I mean, it's approaching the 786, the 0.786 here. It's at 450, just a little bit below 450K market cap. Honestly though, again, like the way I like to approach some of these micro caps is look for like candle bodies that can, yeah. So on the 4 hour, you potentially have this. And that's pretty much coinciding with the 0.786. Let's see. Boom. Buyout. Do the green. But I think we get meaningfully into this box, right? So let's see. I would say 400K. A lot of times these things, when they actually break down a little bit, they do like these exaggerated moves on chain with a lot of these micro caps. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like another exaggerated move down. It broke like this higher time frame structure. So yeah, I'd go for the green box, deeper in the green box though, not here. I'd say I'd even go here. Yeah, I'd even go there for a potential bottom buy. But just know that you might be potentially catching a falling knife. Again, I haven't done the research at Gabriel, so on Gabriel, so I don't know what they're building, what the community is expecting, what their roadmap is looking like. So yeah, if assuming that when we bring projects onto the stream, typically we do a decent portion of DD we to just kind of filter some trash, right? You don't want to just, we want to actually provide value. So we try to make sure that whatever we do bring on is some sort of value. So, um, but with that said, I still would need to do some research to kind of get a clear idea of what they're doing and at what point in their development they are. Until then, we're in an environment where, to be honest, like I wouldn't even be surprised if we wicked, we wicked, oops, what is this? What market cap is this? Okay, like let's see, 150. Yeah, so I would even that's where the most support is after a breakdown, but it could find support higher depending on if the holders are willing to sell. So again, that's why research is needed to do to get an idea of like what holders expect. Why is it dumping after a recent recent tweet? Is there something that they were expecting and didn't get? Stuff like that. Holder expectations are a big play a big role. But with Bitcoin looking, if we get that massive downturn in Bitcoin, like if we say, if say this this head and shoulders here plays out, let's say this bear flag plays out, right, and we puke, if we puke down, we're getting a shot at this bottom box down here. We're getting a shot. If Bitcoin goes, let's say sub 85K, like we're definitely going to get a chance to buy this at much lower levels. But I would just like, if I was approaching this chart, this would be DCA1, this would be DCA2, and I'll actually even I'll put that in. Let's see, DCA1. And then DCA2. Boom. So that would be my approach. If this was my portfolio and I'm looking at it, that's exactly how I'd approach it. I'd say DCA1 here, and then DCA2 all the way down here. That's how I'd approach that. Yeah. Just can't trust this market, man. Nothing reflecting on the project, but just overall the market, bro. Like the market is no bueno. I mean, you see today, long and shorts both getting liquidated. There's not a clear direction that anyone can take with this market. So until then, I don't trust it. Until then, it's just open to whoever wants to manipulate it in whatever direction. So yeah. But great stream here today, guys. I think we covered a lot of decent stuff. We're at the 2.5 hour mark, or I should say like the hour and a half mark or so. So yeah, things are looking good here. Covered some nice charts. I'm really, honestly, I really loved our Bitcoin discussion today, because honestly, I didn't see this head and shoulders until I was on stream. So I actually want to go back and do a little bit more digging on this, and I might even do a little bit of a write up here. But I've had this idea, or I should say I've been open to this idea of the markets kind of taking one last stab down to fully like establish a range, right? So we had this up move, but we haven't gone back down to retest any of these lower levels. So I would love to see, or not love to see, but I'm open to seeing, us go like this, potentially even like that, before we break out, right? And before we break out, retest. This is like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like this play out. We are, a lot of times when the Fed said that they're going to cut, when they actually do cut rates, the markets tend to dump week of the Fed, week going into the Fed meeting. Markets are pretty choppy. So yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if something like this plays out. But if it does, like, at like 80K, like we want to be setting massive buys in. So I'm going to be, having some capital on standby so I can set some buys down here potentially if we get it. But I wouldn't be surprised if we at least revisit 80, this like 85K area. But overall, open to more downside. Think we still, have a really awesome 2026. But yeah, that's that, guys. Look, appreciate you guys tuning in today. It's been an amazing stream. We've covered a lot. We've even uncovered some potential alpha here today. We've covered some nice trading setups. So yeah, stay frosty out there. Still, jobs not done. Maybe even to the downside, but definitely jobs not done to the upside either. So stay locked in, stay ready. Markets are looking absolutely they look like they're in an interesting spot. So let's keep watching. Again, tomorrow we'll have, and the rest of the week, we'll have traders on the show. But we'll also have, Dom and Josh at Met Dobby checking in live. So just keep the notifications on. Follow at MCG Live on Twitter to get fully notified whenever the account goes live. And we'll go from there. I mean, look, we are going crazy, y'all. We're going towards 7,000 followers. We have a lot of things that we're working on in the background as well to increase the viewer experience. So yeah, just continue to expect that we'll be covering trade setups and doing trader interviews this week. The boys will be in Met Dobby, chopping it up with Meteora, and I wonder who all commented on this so far. Let's see. Yeah, we got a couple nice little comments in here too. Go ahead and feel free to smash this tweet here and let me know how much you enjoy MCG and what your personal experience has been. Outside of that, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Hope you guys stay safe out there, and we will see y'all tomorrow. I will see y'all tomorrow. Josh and I might see you a little sooner than that. Keep on the notifications. Stay up on what's to come next. All right, guys, take care.